Hey, I'm Drotos from keyboardimprov.com, and today's piano myth that we're busting wide open isn't one that people tell us so much, like the others, like you have to do this, you have to do that. It's one we tend to tell ourselves, and it's absolutely not true. And this myth that we tell ourselves says that some keys are easier than others. And actually, the version we probably tell ourselves more often is some keys are harder than others, right? So I don't want to play in D flat, I want to play in C, right? Well, it is a myth, actually, because it all depends on how much we play in that key. It's more about spending time in the key and getting to know it. And the simple fact is that if we grow up playing traditional piano methods, or many rock and pop and folk songs, they're in certain keys. They're in the ones with less sharps and flats, less black keys. So we'll have C, F, G, D, sometimes E if you're a guitarist, because play with guitarists, because that's a key guitarist playing. Those tend to be the easiest, but it's not because they're easier. It's not because they have less black keys on the piano. It's because we're just more used to them. Our fingers know what to do. We see them visually. We know how to read music in those keys because we see those much more frequently than the others. So there's a few things that helped me realize this. First of all, I read that Chopin, when he taught, his students wrote a lot about him. He taught in Paris in mid-1800s, that he would often teach the student the major scales by starting with B major. Because B major fits the shape of our hand. If you just hold your hand like this, like you're holding a tennis ball or an orange or something, your thumb is down here. So we play the B on a white note, and then our other fingers naturally just hit the black keys, and then we cross over to E, and we have more black keys. So you can try it yourself. You can actually play B really quickly. Or even C is a little awkward because we're trying to play like this instead of like that. So it's a little more awkward, but B can just fly naturally after a while. It may take a couple days to get there if you haven't done it, but explore the key of B. It's the easier one, especially with the right hand like that. So Irving Berlin, great composer, What'll I Do, and There's No Business Like Show Business, could only play in the key of F sharp. And he had a transposing piano that had a button, a lever. There's a YouTube video of him using the lever or something, and it shifts the piano. I almost played on that piano. I was doing Swinging on a Star. It was a musical I helped create, Broadway musical in 1993. We made it to Broadway in 95. And it was in the Music Box Theater in the theater district in Manhattan. And the theater is co-owned by the Irving Berlin estate, by the family. And so the manager, at that time his name was Frank, I was hanging out in his office one day between shows. It was right off the lobby and up in the balcony. It's a small little room, about 6 feet across by about 15 feet long. And I was saying, what about that piano, right? And he goes, Ron, you just missed it by like 6 months. He pointed to the corner. He said, the piano, that transposing piano, it's very famous, was in that corner for decades, since the 1950s, and this was in 2005, and like 5 decades or something, I don't know. And he said it was right there, but they gave it to the Smithsonian in Washington, D.C. or somewhere. So I could have played, he said, you could have played it if you were here 6 months ago. In any case, I came close, almost. But basically, who knows why he could play in that key, but that was the easiest for him, and then he hit the knob, and it would transpose to the keys that most of us would prefer. And I met someone who was a graduate student at the university I went to who said that her first piano teacher had taught her starting with the black notes. And she said, to this day, the key of F sharp was no problem for her because she actually learned that way. When I was in high school as a teenager, I used to play with a lot of guitarists, and I got really good at playing blues in the key of A. Because it's a guitar key and they liked playing in A. And then when I went to college as a freshman, I started playing with saxophonists and trumpet players who liked the flat keys. So we started playing blues in F, and I'm like, oh, this is weird, playing blues in F. And then I remember going back after a full year of college, going back during the summer to my parents' house and jamming with some of those musicians again. And I could play in F, but A kind of seemed weird after a while, so it reversed. And it was just because I'd been playing in those keys. So one of the best things to do for your musicianship is to get to know how to play in the different keys. Just take a simple chord progression like that in a 12-bar blues and do one key a week, for 12 weeks or something. And then do it again. And the second and third time through the cycle, it will start to get easier because you're acclimatizing yourself to those keys. You're spending time in the keys. And there are no hard keys. So here we go. This is one of those myths that we tell ourselves, and it holds us back, because transposing in different keys will really help us make connections between songs. Like, oh, it goes through the 4 chord. I can see that because I'm doing it in a few different keys, and I have to think those things through. So transposing helps us play in the different keys, but playing in the different keys also helps us with our transposition. And it's all this virtuous cycle of understanding music and just getting better at it. So yeah. No hard keys, only keys we don't play in too much. Thanks for being here. This is a wonderful series for me. I'm learning a lot. It's helping me clarify my thoughts. And a lot of good feedback. So if you like this video, please leave a comment. Let us know. Or if there's a particular key. Actually, let's ask this question. What is your favorite key to play in? Leave that in a comment. We'll compare. It'd be funny if some people say D flat and some people say G or whatever. It's all personal taste and your own experience. So yeah, leave a comment, your favorite key. Thanks. Good luck with your music.